Hello, this is a Yamaha G3 grand piano made in 1985, 6 foot 1 inches long, and we sold it in 2010, so it's come back into stock, and just appraising it to see if there's any work that we need to do to improve it. The casework is generally exceptionally good. There's just the odd surface scratch where the music's been put here, but otherwise the piano's almost perfect. Now the felt here shows no signs of wear at all, so that's encouraging. It means it's been very little used. It tends to be the first part to wear if not lots of music's put on there, obviously. Now the piano's been tuned regularly by us, and it was at concert pitch already, so we've had to clean up the inside a little bit, but generally in perfect condition again. The action's also in perfect condition. You can see slight hammer wear here, but as we looked at the music stand and noticed there was no real wear on the felt. There's very little play for the age of the piano here, so it's made it slightly mellower, I think. We could just brighten up by light refacing if you wanted that, but I personally like a mellow sounding piano, and these Yamahas of that age tend to be extremely beautiful sounding pianos and more mellow perhaps than a modern one. So here are the details of the assessment. It's got good legroom, by the way. 62 is a little bit more than normal, and 44.5 centimetre pedal height is really low, so if you could put caster cups under without any problem if you're tall. I've often mentioned this because grand pianos legroom tends to be a bit on the low side, 61, 60 sometimes, so this 4.5 is certainly very low for pedals, so you could increase the legroom by at least 2-3 centimetres without any problem. The pedals will still not feel uncomfortable. So general assessment of the whole piano is good. Just small corrections like the unicorda, a bit less, it's wearing a bit, so very small adjustments there, and generally regular, but you can see lots of good. There's nothing much to do on the regulation, which is encouraging. But we did do quite a lot of key weighting here, and I haven't quite finished it off, so I'm just going to try and explain what's happening there. So the key weighting was initially weighed here. The light colours here, you can see a 63, that was when it was first weighed, so it was heavy. If the piano's not been played a lot and been perhaps standing in a slightly damper room, then it will tend to get on the heavy side. That's what happens to so many pianos when they're this age. It's a Japanese Yamaha, by the way, so it's one of the very best. So the 52 here was not too bad, but we've reweighed a lot of the keys, and we've still got some more to do. So I just want to show you what we've done there, and it's a process that we've been using since more or less during COVID. We started to use this process, and it seems to be working very well. So the kind of weight we're aiming for is 48 to 50 in the bottom base here, so that's 48 gram weight, and that's 48 grams, that's fine. Let's have a look at this C here. So that's perhaps very slightly heavier, plus or minus 2 grams is the accuracy we can usually manage. Let's have a look at this C here. So that one is also almost exactly right. I've written the weights on here, so if you look here, you'll find that that bottom one 48.50, that one 48, so that's excellent. But middle C here is actually too light, and we did some it was originally 64, so we brought it down too much, as you can see there. So changing the weight of keys in pianos is normally a matter of adding or taking away lead here. So if you want to make it heavier, you take away lead. If you want to make it lighter, you add lead. You could also take away or add lead at the back of the key. It's the reverse, obviously. Here you want to make it heavier by taking lead out, or you could make it heavier by adding lead to the back. So manufacturers do both, one or the other, and they all vary a bit. So that's how we would do that. But if you need a pillar drill, and you can easily break the key, so you can't really do it in someone's home, and we're obviously doing that all the time in the workshop, but there's not always time to do all the pianos like that. And if you're a piano tuner, you haven't perhaps got the tools, a pillar drill and so on, you're in someone's house, you want to alter the weight. So we've come up with something which the trader's been 100% positive about up till now, so I'll show you what that is. So we did find these weights which are 11 millimeters wide. The key's normally 12 millimeters wide, and so it's quite a tight fit. You have to be very accurate with this. We did find the first set we found was 12 millimeters, which was the same as the key, but it was too dangerous really. It's easy for them to touch the next key if you don't get it directly on. So these are 5 gram weights. We could do with 10 gram weights or even more if you start using this system. If you were able to find 10 gram weights that were the same width or less width possibly, then that would be wonderful, because obviously 5 gram weights we tend to have to put 2 on top of each other very often. So that's what let me show you how we go about putting them underneath the keys. So then we would put them underneath the keys here. We obviously put the weights on top of the keys first of all, and then find out how many it needs to be the weight that we put the key weight here, right near the end. So we're weighing it to see if it's the right weight, so 48 to 50 grams here, and then they start to go down, and we mark on the side here, and then we put them underneath. So that's not that's not an extremely accurate way of doing it. So we would then have to adjust them. So we want to overdo it if anything, and then we can adjust them by putting the weights on top of the keys at the back. Before doing any key weighting, I should say that we lubricate the balance rail first. It's really important. That's with talc, dry lubricant, and so that if you press the keys up like that, they go straight down. So that's the idea there, that they're just loose enough to go down. We mustn't open up the hole here, so they mustn't be too loose, but just loose enough to go down, as they would be in a new piano. So we're just basically making this like a new piano, and there's no difference really in terms of the touch. So the other lubrication points is really important to lubricate. If the hammers are slightly tight, then you lubricate this hinge, as they were on this one actually, and then you must lubricate as well here. It's surprising how much difference it makes when you put the weights on the keys if it's lubricated here. New pianos have talc lubricant here as well as the graphite lubricant. They'll have talc lubricant, and putting talc back on there, it also stops any squeaks there might be. Sometimes you do get some slight squeaks when you press this down. Now that's very important. So this C here weighed off correctly at 48 grams. You can just tap the bottom to get rid of the initial inertia, and then it should go down nice and smoothly. And you must have your foot on the pedal when you do this, so it's really important. Sustain pedal, lift the dampers off, otherwise they will interfere with what you're trying to weigh. So this middle C here though, let's put the weight on there, and we'll find that it's too light. So we're not going to take weights off underneath now. We're going to add weights at the back. So now I'm going to add weights to the back of the keys. We really need 10 gram weights because we can only find these 5 gram weights at the moment. If you know where to get, you need to be thin, as I say, 11 millimeters really is the maximum. We couldn't find any that are 10 gram weights. These are motorcycle wheel balancing weights, by the way, if you wondered what they were. This is a full box of unused weights. That's 100 times 12, at 1,200 of them. So with 20 grams placed at the back of the key there, and I've just moved this one along a bit to get it more accurate, but that means we end up with 48 grams almost exactly. So you can really get it quite refined if you place them on the top. So that's the system we're using at the moment. If you can come up with better ideas and have a think about it, but this is new, and this is the third video I've made of this, and so far I've had positive comments. But if you do want to say anything you're not happy about, please do let us know, because this is in work in progress really, designing this. But the advantages as well, if you wanted it heavier, lighter rather, you could take weights off the back there. If you wanted it heavier, you could take weights off the front. So there's scope, whereas with the lead weights you can't really take them out very easily. You can do, but you have to, if you're a piano tuner, you certainly wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't think. If you've got a workshop, you might well do that. I hope that's helpful. It's, as I say, something we're still in the pioneering stage, but we've done quite a few pianos now, and we do reweigh all our pianos. So it's something we offer. Normally we would do that because we recognise one of the main differences between a second-hand piano and the new one is the weighting, and it's not quite as even. So if you're studying the piano, you want it as even as possible, and you might want it lighter if you're perhaps an older person, don't play very much. I certainly like a light weight now I'm getting older. So I hope that's helpful, and I'm going to just play the piano alongside other pianos to get you some idea of the tone. This is another Yamaha G3, this is 1980, very similar piano. This is a fully restored Bosendorfer 1925, slightly shorter at 170 centimetres. This Bosendorfer only has 85 keys. So that's a Yamaha G3 grand piano made in 1985, 6 foot 1 inches long, and a piano that we sold in 2010 and just come back into stock. As piano dealers, we're fortunate to get pianos back in that we previously sold, and obviously that's wonderful because it's piano that we already know, and it's a piano that we've been tuned regularly as well, so we've looked after the piano during that time. So the piano, we've now done some extra work on the touch. That's something that we offer these days, so we've tried to make it as much like a new piano as possible. Lubricating, I mentioned earlier, and then adjusting the touch so the down weight is roughly 48 grams here. Earlier pianos, by the way, tended to be lighter. The very oldest Steinway is 47, 46 grams, and obviously harpsichords were very light, so the piano gradually got heavier, and nowadays tends to be around about 50 grams, 52 grams. Kawai set theirs at 55 grams apparently, so if you're studying the piano, it's important it's not too light, but if you're an older person, you might want it lighter, and you can, with this system that we've got, you can adjust the weighting to your taste later on if you want the piano to be lighter perhaps. That is something that might happen, so we're pleased to be able to offer that. And if you do have any comments in the trade, please do put them below. We have got 2 other videos about the same thing, so far we've got positive trade comments, but if you do have something to say about that, we'd be very grateful. We want to learn, we want to make sure we're serving as well as possible. So if you want a high quality piano, we can thoroughly recommend this Yamaha and the other one, which I haven't done the deep assessment of yet. And we'll may get time to make a video later, but maybe not. So thank you very much for listening. If you're interested, please do write to us, info@robertspianos.com.